baby. Ladies and and gentlemen, welcome back to another day of UAA Esports matches. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to announce that we are continuing our Overwatch 2 team, and they're continuing into this match, starting off the NECC season. Welcome, everybody. My name is AK Koda, or Bryson Literal, and we're back once again, finalizing our week out with some Overwatch. Let's start things off. Let's meet the team. We got Lord, Demon King, Star Chicken, and Smokey all returning to the roster, all led by the team captain of Etho, who's taking a manager position for the time being. And then let's get some camera time on the new rookie, being Tony. Welcome to the team. The Rook. We have so many rookies into this UAA Esports program. It's super exciting to see. And Tony's looking to stake his claim on the Tracer. We're going to be on Lijiang Tower, everybody. In terms of character bans, we did have a couple of hero bans. UAA was banning D.Va, so you won't be seeing D.Va this time around. And you also won't be seeing Kiriko from the side of CSULB. Let's see how things go. It's going to be touching the point now as we are running around this comp with Hazard. Demon King really strong with his Hazard. He's going to be able to take out Moose on the Venture. Still looking for any more sort of picks on that Lucio, but not able to find it. Looks like Sojourn on the opposite team actually flew off the map, but Smokey's unfortunately going to be taken out by the Junker Queen. Things are a little bit rough for the time being, and we were not able to cap the points. So looks like we're going to have to just go for a little bit of a reset here. Find out if we need any sort of comp swaps. Looking back at the placements, if you guys want any sort of context, CSULB, California State of Long Beach, they did beat us in the placement matches, so this is a little bit of a rematch with a new look of a team, so it's going to be extremely different. Now, going to have Hazard with the ultimate, looking to utilize it. It's going to be popping it on. Not going to find any sort of picks there, but Lord will find the pick onto the Junker Queen. So that's a really good pick for the time being. Lord and Tony of the DPS duo is just absolutely slamming the team of CSULB, and that's going to be a huge team kill flawlessly for the side of UAA. Down about 70%. Still a beautiful take with only 2 ults popping, so we still have both of our support ults building up. Both supports on both teams are mirroring, so we do have the Moira and Lucio on both ends. Tony's gonna have to worry a little bit. This Venture has been a little bit of a troublesome character for our team in the past, but looking at Tony and Lord to be the ones to kind of deal with that. Looks like the enemy beat will be utilized alongside the Coalescence, and that's gonna be our Moira down, unfortunately. But we were able to take out the Lucio. Apologies for what I said earlier. I forgot that Etho is on his Star Chicken account, rather. So he actually isn't taking a manager role. He will be star-studded on that support that we are not used to him seeing. We're usually seeing him on the tank. Beautiful kill from Tony there to try to even out the odds for the time being. But with no recall, he might meet his maker. And now that Long Beach does have this point, it's going to be extremely troublesome for them to try to retake it at any capacity here on Night Market. 90% remaining. Hazard will be able to at least try to jump, but just not enough heals. Junker Queen all comes through, and the beat's going to have to be utilized. We were able to touch. It is going to be Tracer that is, or Lord rather, that is going to be there for the time being, but now that that time ticks down, looks like Long Beach will be the ones to strike first and win that first point, unfortunately. All right, so we find ourselves down to 0-1 in this best of 3 for this map. But this is just a warm-up, so do not worry. I have full faith in our team to make a comeback here. Going back to when we talked about the placements, it was a little bit different back then, as it was a best of 3 in the placements, but this time around it is a best of 5, so don't worry, there is quite a bit of room left to play with. If we can see ourselves going into an extended long series. But now going into map 2 of Lijiang Tower. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of a swamp here. It's pretty much the same look, but Tony this time it will be going on to the Genji. CSULB switching things up just a tad with the Reaper, but for the most part, it's just a DPS swap on both sides. Looking to see exactly how we're going to handle with the Venture this time around. Venture does go up. Genji dash utilized. But no pick found, but Smokey will be unfortunately found. That's going to force UAA to fall back for the time being. And then go back and gladly trading this Venture off. Lord was not able to participate in the placement matches as he was out gambling in Vegas. But this time around, he's going to be back. Making a gamble with his team, hoping to win this match. Smokey and Demon King are going to get the first 2 picks. Quickly traded, however, is going to be Smokey and Lord that are going to fall. Other members are still looking to try to get this here. But Demon King will fall as well. So the rest of the main members of UAA are going to have to fall off. Still a really good attack for the most part. No ults were utilized, but we still built up quite a bit of our own. And our bank is looking fairly strong as we are very close to this Hazard ult. Previously, we did not see that great of an ult utilized. But hopefully this time around, we'll be able to land quite a bit of the picks. Demon King looking for any sort of angle possible. He does find the Moira in the back line. He sees the rest of his team that goes through. It will come through, but once again, just does not find anything. It's going to be Coalescence popped by Etho to try to utilize and heal the team as much as possible. That's going to be 2 picks found above it, and that's going to be the 2 DPS of CSULB. So now the lack of damage will be prevalent. However, Moira is still staking her claim, trying to find as much picks as possible, but it looks like Long Beach will give this one up. Once again, we find ourselves down in a deficit of 70%, but we do have some DPS ults to utilize off of this. It looks like the Venture ult was utilized, but Lord's able to get out of the fray for now. So that's at least 1 ult pull for the time being. Looks like Demon King was able to get daggered, but he's able to get back in time. Blade comes through from Tony, and that's going to utilize the beat. So now, going forward, Lord has a wide open window now to pop his ult, as we unfortunately did lose point now. But this Sojourner will look great in the future. Smokey unfortunately falls once again, but things are still looking up for the team now, as our ults are still looking strong. Full support still on point. We have to touch here if we want to take it into OT. It's going to be the Hazard that hops onto the point. Sojourn, it will pop her ult. Looking for any sort of picks. Will be the Lucio, the first one to fall. Looking for the Junker Queen next. Beautiful shots from the side of Lord, cleaned up by Demon King of the tank. And this time around, like I said, we have seen a lot of these players back reprising their roles onto the UAA Esports roster of Overwatch 2, but a lot of different roles individually when it comes to the heroes picks. As we're used to seeing a Demon King on DPS, we're used to seeing Star Chicken Etho on the DPS or tank role, but it's whatever it takes for the team to win. And unfortunately, CSULB is just capping this point behind our team. Reaper ult did come through and was able to take out quite a bit, but it's going to be Demon King and Tony to try to hold down the line for the time being. Moira is running away from her life, but beautiful picks on the side of Tony. And now we could find ourselves really looking good here, as Junker Queen does have her ult, but we do have the beat from Smokey to respond. Smokey's gonna have to stay alive here. And despite the Junker Queen being able to anti-heal, if we're able to pop the ult just in time, then it wouldn't matter. Venture ult. This Venture, they've been able to do a really good job in marking this Venture, making sure that she has absolutely no room to breathe here. Fade will be utilized by the side of Etho, but they're able to take out the Junker Queen. Genji Blade comes through, is able to take out Junker Queen as well as Lucio. Demon King on the other end is able to take out Moose the Venture, and now things are looking beautiful for the side of UAA. Venture ult and JQ ult are still active, as well as the beat from Lucio is going to come through late in the end of the fight. So they have to build up their ults here. Lucio did fall, but will be coming late in this fight with the beat, as long as it's popped in after. Venture ult does fall due to Etho with an early pick. Beautiful stuff. And that's going to be the beat utilized. Junker Queen ult was used as well, but still the anti-heal was only able to pop on 2 members. Lord's going to be able to pop his ult, and that's a beautiful team kill from the side of UAA. And they find themselves tied up 1-1 on Lijiang Tower. Beautiful stuff so far from our Overwatch team as they're able to strike back from being down in a deficit 0-1. But now it is all up to this third map. If they're able to find this one, then this will be the first map win that they can take over CSULB. So make some noise in chat, ladies and gentlemen, everyone at the watch party as well, for the team. They're going to need the energy as much time as ever. Symmetric TP comes in, and it looks like, okay, they will swap back to the Tracer. Team comp looks fairly similar on both ends, but this time Tony's going to back to that Tracer, and then Glizzy on the opposite end, other than the Reaper, will stick onto that Sojourn. Etho has been doing a fantastic job getting onto this role of the healer. 1-for-1 trade goes through. Tony will fall, but that is a Moira that's being traded out, so definitely a very favorable one. Sojourn will fall as well, and unfortunately Etho will as well, so we're gonna have to hold on for the time being, forcing Smokey to kind of fall back here. And despite getting the first blood, was just some unfavorable fighting angles from UAA, so kind of forces us to back off. And we have seen this in previous maps. UAA has been falling towards those first few battles, but really find themselves towards the latter half when they are able to build up ultimates. Looks like they're going to be leaning towards this left side. Doesn't look like Long Beach was ready for this, as they're able to hop on point here and take as much as possible. Nice wall from the side of Demon King to block off any sort of heals from the support side of things. CSULB is really being tugged on both ends, forcing them to kind of retreat into different areas. That's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. We are able to take out the Venture despite losing our Moira. But the healers from CSULB are just having a tough time right now trying to heal their Junker Queen. But despite the first few picks that we were able to get, we are on the back foot once again. Just trying to look for any sort of opening as we build our ult here. The poke from Long Beach is quite dangerous, as critical is all over our screen so far. No ultimates on either side, so we're really gonna have to force ourselves into this point and have to just press Q in the middle of the game. This Venture has been putting on a huge tangent, but with the Lucio speed boost, we're able to push ourselves in. That's gonna be Demon King popping his ult of his own. Pulse Bomb goes out, not able to find the Sojourn, and unfortunately UAA is losing this fight, as Tony will fall after utilizing his recoil, or his recall, trying to find this Sojourn, but it's just a little too fast with the dash. And now all we have left after utilizing our tank and Tracer is going to be our 2 support ults. But looking at it on the other end, Long Beach does have multiple ultimates of their own, so this could definitely be very precarious for the side of UAA. But now the fight goes on. Utilize is going to be the Coalescence. Looking on the other end, will pop as much damage as possible, but the Lucio ult is going to come through. That's going to be Demon King is going to fall, unfortunately, after utilizing the Junker Queen ult. All Qs have been popped from the side of California Long Beach, and as well as Smokey not able to pop the Lucio beat. And unfortunately, after just a little bit of phase and jumping around, I don't know if Etho's able to hold on long enough, and Lord's able to touch. He's just not able to. And despite popping the Q, that's going to be the first map going to California State Long Beach Blue. Really close game nonetheless, but we're going to see you guys after dropping map 1. We'll see you in the next map. Demon King getting play of the game there. I wonder if they'll let this one play out. Usually they let this one go through. Beautiful stuff nonetheless from our team, reprising some very new roles. So as long as we get this first match done and over with, then we'll be very strong going forward. We'll see you guys in the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Look at this beautiful castle. That's right. If you're familiar with Overwatch, we're on Eichenwald. Look at the beautiful German castles of this map. That's the one thing I could say that I do like about this game is its architecture. Everything else, not so much. Let's get back into the game, ladies and gentlemen. So, it looks like not much swaps have happened. It looks like on the other side of teams, little batteries will be subbing in. But for UAA, we're going to stick with the same lineup. We have our Kiri Lucio combo this time around. We're going to be still on the Hazard, as well as the Genji and the Sojourn. By the way, I wanted to announce, everybody, we are doing a live watch party right now. So if you're in chat, sitting at home or in your dorm, come out to the Esports Lounge, have a good time. There's a bunch of people out there. And to the people that are at the watch party right now, we are giving away a free 10-hour PC pass towards your PC gaming account. That's right, 10 free hours. You're given 40 free hours towards the semester, but you will be given 10 more. That's a ton of gaming. That's like one of my gaming sessions. So if you want more, definitely come out and give your name to the student esports manager known as Daniel. Shout out to him. And now getting back into the game, shout out to Lord, as he's unfortunately going to be the first one to fall. Tony's going to be looking to be the next one if the heals aren't going to come through, and unfortunately they are not. And now the rest of the remaining members of UAA are going to be throttled into this lodge over here, forced to back away. Smokey just living as much as possible, dancing, wall riding as much, but it's going to be the Genji dash to end her time on this map. And that's going to be an extremely fast take. Talking about the character bans for this one. Venture, round of applause. Venture was banned, thank Christ. So now this time around, we'll not be seeing Venture, but also we won't be seeing Wrecking Ball, a ban from Long Beach. So definitely an interesting one. It is one of the favorites from Demon King, so definitely could have been a pick that might have been used for this map. We haven't seen our team play on Eichenwald in a very long time, so it's exciting to see a new map this time around. We usually see King's Row after over and over again, but this time around, unfortunately, we won't be seeing that. But we will be seeing quite a bit of kills from Demon King, finding himself in a 1v1 now with the tank. He killed off 4 members of CSULB. And despite being in a 1v1 with Junker Queen, not a favorable fight, as she does have anti-heal or Omnivamp for the League of Legends players that are watching. It's very similar to BOTK. Dagger will come through, and it does pull the Hazard in a very interesting way. Ultimate will be used, and it does catch 2 members of the supports, and that's a beautiful pickup from Tony and Demon King. Next one's going to be Junker Queen. She's going to be having to fire on all angles. Pulse Bomb comes through, not able to find anything, and the Tracer is going to have to flash back in time, but it's not enough, as That's So Raven comes through from UAA, and they're able to pick her up with ease. This Hazard pick has been a huge staple for our team so far, as we're very used to running that brawly Junker Queen Ramatra comps, but this time around it looks like it's gonna force Long Beach to kind of swap off towards these different roles, as they will be swapping off of the Tracer onto the Reaper. So a lot more death ball-y, but with the extensions from UAA, we might see a lot of value from that dash. Genji dash comes through, and that's going to be Curiol utilized from Etho. It's going to allow them to create a lot of damage in space and split apart CSULB for the time being, but that's going to utilize the Lucio ult comes through as well. Smokey's still building up on her ult, so she's not able to really help the team as much as possible. Lord's going to fall with his Q activated. Smokey still has to try to keep her team alive as well as herself. Demon King kind of fighting on all ends now, as he's just climbing up walls, trying to do as much damage as possible, dancing with the devil. And they're going to be forced to fall back for the time being, but with 3 minutes remaining, they're still trying to hold on this choke on the bridge now. Smokey wall riding, doing as much as possible, 95% onto the ult. That's going to be the Junker Queen ult, but it's only able to catch Tony. It's going to be Lord popping his ult, trying to get over the wall, and he's not able to find any sort of picks this time being, but that's going to be the Lucio ult beat popped as well, as the Genji blade comes through, slicing away a lot of the enemies. Okay, hopefully we stop pressing Q, because that is a lot of ultimates utilized, but we still do have the Hazard ult. And while I would have preferred if we did save a little bit more ults, we are actually even now, as we do have the Hazard ult, and while they do have the Kiriko ult, a lot of people might favor this fight towards CSULB, but If you do not remember that, Kiriko is in a very direct straight line, and if you don't know whose ult denies a direct straight line, that's going to be none other than Hazard. So if they're able to utilize this correctly, beautiful ult path, looks beautiful. He's not going to utilize it yet. He's going to just wait just a second. Team is spreading apart. Kiriko ult does come through. That is the perfect ult that comes through as well to deny the Kiriko ult. They're able to shut down, but the Reaper ult comes through to shut all the remaining members down of UAA. And unfortunately, they're all going to fall, and CSULB does get that first checkpoint. Now chugging along further. Looks like Tony's going to swap off of the Genji onto the Tracer. And a little bit more close-range gunfights. Fairly precarious if he was on that character. Lord with a beautiful shot onto Moose. That's going to be the Reaper down. Despite having the Reaper fade, he's not able to get away just in time to fade away from the bullet of Lord. Some beautiful hit scan work. That's going to be the Genji ult that's popped. That Genji is looking for our backline, and he's able to find Star Chicken, unfortunately. And he's also able to find our Tracer, and that's going to be all left to Demon King to try to fend for his life on the point, as the Genji is just wreaking havoc in the backlines, and all that's left is up to Smokey to touch. And now with multiple Long Stay Beach members on this point, we're going to have to touch as quick as possible. It's going to be the Curie ult utilized, and Etho's looking for any sort of kills possible. Suzu's not able to land in time. That's going to be the beat utilized from CSULB, and other ultimates aren't able to be utilized from UAA, and Demon King is just going to have to bite the bullet on point. And despite a very valiant defense, we find ourselves down 3-0 with 2 minutes remaining for California Long Beach. So definitely might be a little bit precarious. Look at these beautiful paintings. That's all we can look at right now as we await our team to spawn in. I really wonder if they're going to do any sort of swaps in terms of the team lineup for the defense side. Unless they really want to play a really aggressive Hazard. It would be exciting to see. Oh, our team does not spawn here. Yikes. That's a little bit embarrassing. They spawn here. Demon King onto the Hazard, and it looks like Tony will be going for this Echo pick. Oh, snap. No way. We might be seeing Demon King reprising his role on his #1 main character of Doomfist. Things might get a little dangerous for California Long Beach, as Doomfist is the one character that you do not want to see Demon King on if you are a fan of Long Beach. This time around, though, looks like they're going to take a little bit of a different approach with the Diva on the defense, as she just gets punched all the way backwards. Not even a chance to deny any sort of the high ground there. Now UAA just still trying to look for any sort of opening that they can find. Diva was punched directly into the team. Beautiful stuff from the side of Demon King. Already showcasing what he can do on this character. He takes out the Kiriko, and he's already staking his claim onto the map. Sojourn falls as well, and this looks like a beautiful push. Genji's going to be knocked all the way back into the wall. And this is already a beautiful stuff from the side of UAA. They are able to cap the point faster, if not just as fast as Long Beach did. And I'm telling you right now, this look of Demon King on the Doomfist is definitely not one you want to see, unless you're a fan of UAA. Let's make some noise in the chat for Demon King. Oh my god, you guys are cheering so loud. I love to hear it. 5 minutes now as we are looking to try to get up on this point. It looks like Smokey as well made a little bit of a swap early on in the game, opening up with the Juno. And oh my gosh, we just gotta keep the, I'm trying to spread the POV around towards everyone, but this POV of Demon King is just absolutely fantastic, slamtastic rather. But unfortunately on the front end, he was extending just a little bit too far, and the rest of his team will pay for it, but he's still able to get the picks to even it out. And each pick that is taken, each life that is taken from CSULB, that is a much longer respawn time. So it does at least favor UAA for the time being. It's going to force them in the back lines. Demon King does have his ult utilized. That's going to be Kiriko down. Beautiful pick. They're looking for this Tracer, not able to find it, but that's going to be the recall used. And on the front end, it's going to be Lord taking out the D.Va, looking for the Tracer next, but she's just too darn fast. Regardless, however, we are still able to push ourselves up towards under the bridge, so we were able to break the long choke. Now we just got to get onto this other bridge. So many bridges in Germany. On this Eichenwald map, heals are going to be able to come through, and Etho lands a beautiful shot onto the Genji. So now it's a 4v5 ultimately, with multiple ults ready to be utilized. That's going to be Suzu. So that is a huge ultimate utilization. Demon King's able to pick up both supports, and now with the help of Tony, they're able to pull out the Kiriko ult, but they're really not needing it. And this push is looking beautiful from UAA so far. 5 minutes remaining. They did this 2 minutes faster than California State Long Beach was. And now things are looking beautiful for UAA as they finalize this push with 4 ultimates in their back pocket against the 4 that are building up from Long Beach. But that's going to be the Kiriko ult that is utilized. Still following it up. It's going to be the beat that is utilized as well from the side of California State Long Beach. Lord is looking for any sort of pick possible. That's going to be the D.Va ultimate utilized and the blade from CSULB. But now Tony looking for any sort of angle that he can utilize the blade for himself. That's going to be the Juno ult pop, and they're utilizing everything. That's going to be the blade that comes through. Looking for any sort of picks possible. He's looking on. His eyes are set onto the Lucio, but the remaining picks are all gone. Tony has no more picks that he can find for himself, and that's going to be the D.Va fallen. And now UAA have their eyes set on finalizing this push and finishing off CSULB to match them in the 3 checkpoint push that they had prior. No ultimates from both sides, but still things are looking in grave danger for CSULB. But that's going to be 2 picks down for UAA, and unfortunately, despite the amount of momentum that they were able to set for themselves, they find themselves on the back foot now, forcing themselves to fall back. Still 2 minutes remaining to try to match exactly what CSULB did. And as Demon King is building up this ult, there's no really response to it for CSULB. They find this Tracer, almost finish her off, and that's going to be Tony dealing the final dagger. D.Va will be out of mech, and this could look really good for the side of UAA now, as they're able to take out the Kiriko as well. Demon King's just absolutely causing a wreck-it. Charges up the fist, not able to find any sort of hit though. Still looking even further. They're able to take out the Lucio. Still looking for the Reaper now. The Reaper does not have ult, but he will die in the midst of the fade. Still looking for any sort of pick. Star Chicken able to land a dagger, and that's going to be the Demon King ult looking down from the skies, able to clean up the Kiriko. And although the Kiriko ult from the CSULB is able to be utilized, still looking to try to beat the time of California State Long Beach's UAA. Star Chicken Etho, he's able to pop the ult, and only 1 member remaining is going to be the Tracer on the touch, but they're able to clean that up with a beautiful dagger. He saw into the future with that one, and 26-second advantage. UAA find themselves completing the 3 checkpoint look. And we're tied up on Eichenwald. So before we started map 2, I was actually tasked to say nice things. Oh my god, we got Smokey. Shout out to Daniel. Shout out to Daniel in the chat. This is Daniel's main, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god, wait, she's actually gonna play it. We're actually gonna see a Zenyatta. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Daniel in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. This is Daniel's prized pick. and we're seeing it in live competition. Oh, what was I saying earlier? Oh, yeah. So I had to say nice things. You know, I was tasked with saying nice things about our roster. So we'll go player by player. Lord, absolute fantastic gambler. I heard he doubled his money when he was in Vegas. Tony, definitely not the most generic New Jersey name, but he loves his name, and he's definitely not impersonating somebody. Demon King, fantastic Doomfist player. Star Chicken, great leader. Smokey, I mean, make some fantastic snickerdoodles. All right, there you go. There's the compliments, and let's get straight back into the gameplay. They're looking to try to finalize this push, and if you're new to Overwatch and new to Overtime, when it comes to these push maps, it's a matter of how much and how far you get, and then the other team has to match that or get better. And I mean, UAA is already having a much better time on defense now. Looking to clean up house is Demon King. I mean, let's share the spotlight for everyone else, please. Because Demon King is doing a fantastic job at stealing that spotlight. A minute goes by, and CSULB was only able to get 1.8-ish ticks now. So now things definitely are looking up for UAA, as we unfortunately lost the first point last time, but things do look good. Charge was not able to be utilized there, but still, with the defense of the team, Lucio gets punched to the next universe. Goodbye, Junker Queen as well. And now that's going to be the Genji down from Smokey. And just all that's left is the Reaper and the Kiriko, and CSULB with the just find themselves all locked down. Beautiful team kill from the side of UAA. And with only 30 seconds remaining, things are looking up. The stocks are risen and the stocks are high. I mean, Lord might have to put those gambling wins into some UAA stocks. Here now, it's going to be CSULB that kind of pushes towards this right side of the map. It does not look like Reaper was meant to take that hit, but it looked like he did regardless. And now it's going to be utilizing that Transcendence to keep our team alive for the time being, and it was able to do just enough work. We're now seeing ourselves in overtime. Doomfist from the skies takes out 2. That's bolt DPS from CSULB, and they're not able to do any sort of work. What a beautiful push. Beautiful defense from the side of UAA. Great stuff. As he's able to hold the line. Let's take a look at the scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. 52-3 is Demon King. All right, let me tell you this, okay? Each team gets to ban 1 character. All right, and unfortunately, regardless of the result of this game, I promise you, we will not be seeing Doomfist for the rest of the series. So UAA has to win this one and make as much effort as they can with this win, because regardless of anything that goes on after, things might look very dire. So now, oh no. All right, I promise you, we will not be seeing this Bastion pick. Tony will swap off. I promise you. I promise you. Yes, there comes the swap. Okay. I know that the Overwatch coach is watching right now, and she is sweating bullets seeing Tony on Bastion. Because, let's just say, no, Tony, I swear to you, you better hop off. Okay. Just some lore. Tony was actually banned from playing Bastion, despite making many PowerPoint slides onto why he should play Bastion. But unfortunately, they did not pass or hit the mark, so he will be going right back onto the Genji. Still one of his much more stronger mains. Following it up will be Demon King at the 50 bomb. Still, all they have to do now is just simply cap 1.8 parts of the check meter. So they do have 2 minutes to do so. It is not the most amount of time in the world, but they will still have enough to at least build up a push. Beautiful opening pick from Smokey, as she's going to open up the heart rings to try to get our team onto the site. And now, so long as we're able to keep the heals on, Tony unfortunately will fall, and Demon King is extremely low as well. We're going to have to keep things rolling a little bit, still building up as much ultimates as possible. Lord, unfortunately, not able to hit that beam. Right click won't go through. Dagger comes through as well, but not able to do as much damage. So now we're just slowly building up the ults. And with only 1 minute 20 seconds remaining, things are looking a little bit scarce. But as if we're able to at least push together and keep things rolling, things could look beautiful. Punch does come through from the side of Demon King, not able to punch her under the bridge as intended, but he's still able to do as much damage and create enough space. That is the power of Doomfist with this team and roster. Sees Sojourn on the back lines, sees that this team is going for a little bit of a 2-3 split, whether or not they want to go towards this Sojourn. They do. The dive comes through. That's going to be the Suzu utilized, but Tony unfortunately falls. Ring has to come through with 50 seconds remaining. They still have enough time to at least wait this one out, farm the ultimates a little bit, and they do have the Kiri ult and the Lord ult, so things could look really good here as they build up this last fight. Still trying to gauge as much ultimates as possible, but looks like Long Beach is building up some of their own. They do have both support ults and the High Noon to utilize this, so things could look very dire straits. We're still waiting here, and that's going to be the Kiriko ult to utilize and start this fight. Joker Queen does go down from Tony, and he's still looking to start things off. It's going to be Lord now as the beat was used, and it looks like High Noon. It was the wrong time to pop that one, and it's going to be Sojourn that also dies. UAA is looking great now as multiple picks are going to be going down. Lucio is going to be the next one in line. Tony was going to be taken out by the Cassidy, but the double kill from Demon King shuts things down, and UAA find themselves with a win on Eichenwald. What a beautiful answer to losing Lijiang Tower. And ladies and gentlemen, what a phenomenal performance from our tank Demon King. 56-3. And he doesn't even get play the game with the Doomfist. I mean, what can you say? What a fantastic match, and we'll see you all in map 3. Yes, we'll be cutting this short. You don't get to see the rest of this. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Finally, after a very long delay, apologies. I actually have no clue why it was delayed for so long, but one thing that is to note is that Doomfist is not banned. The bans going into this series was, I believe, it was Lucio? Yeah, it was a Lucio ban and a Junker Queen ban from UAA. So a little bit of different bans this time around, but for the most part, the one thing we could say is that Demon King still has his character, and he is wasting no time to show them for it. This time around, they do have the Venture, so that could prove a little bit annoying, especially for our Tracer. But if we're able to team up in the best way possible as taking out that Venture, as we can see already, she's going to be absolutely useless. and not as much of a nuisance as we've seen in prior matches. So UAA is going to take that first point of Saravasa. Once again, if you are new to Overwatch, this is a new game mode. It is not the same push type of payload that we saw in the last game. This one is more of like a Call of Duty hardpoint, where you have to secure a zone, keep it for until you're at 100%, and then we move on to another zone. And the first team to secure 3 of those zones will be the winner. Demon King doing once again a fantastic job at marking this venture, making sure that she doesn't have the amount of success that she has in the prior matches. 1-for-1 trade goes through, and it's going to be Tracer for Sojourn, as that Tracer has been a big nuisance for our team. On a break comp is not going to be useful at all. Beautiful stuff from Demon King, just absolutely wiping the board clear of all the members of CSULB. Demon King's out here playing chess, while everyone else is just playing checkers, ladies and gentlemen. Next point has spawned, as you just saw there, so UAA does win the first point. And the next flash point will be here in the Candlelight District. Is that what it's called? Unfortunately, probably not. I have absolutely zero clue. But what is most important is that UAA is here first. So CSULB is on an uphill battle. They're going to have to try to fight through the early defense with not very many ults remaining. Punch will come through from the side of Demon King. Marks the venture, knows that she is in the site, and it looks like Long Beach was able to take the point for the time being, but with these ults building up from Demon King, he knows that he is able to just pop this heal up, and he's going to land it directly on the Ana. No sleep dart to be utilized, as she was wasted it. Punches all go through, and every little bit of utility is dumped onto this Doomfist of Demon King, but he's still unable to do anything with it, unfortunately, as Lord will go down in the back lines. And CSULB have kind of figured out a winning formula, and that pretty much is let Demon King dive us as we go and take point. Diva Bomb will go through. And the early point will go in the hands, after a very long fight, being noted, towards Demon King. Good heals from the side of UAA. A lot of sustain, as they do have Kiriko ult, and they are going to utilize that. Lord is going to be in the midst of this, still looking for any sort of pick. He's going to be able to pick up the Ana, but the 2 picks from the backline as the Venture ult was popped, and that's going to be the Nano onto the Diva as well. Things are looking a little bit dire, and Smokey's going to have to pop her ult as well to keep things up, but everyone dies on the side of UAA, unfortunately, and Demon King, despite having a Juno ult that he's able to survive with, it's just not going to be able to keep him up for the meantime. So now they're forced to back off, and I don't know, they just weren't, I guess Lord didn't really find a good enough angle to utilize his ult from, and now, I mean, he's able to use it scot-free. It doesn't look like CSULB have any sort of response to it, but it definitely could be a little bit precarious if he's not able to find necessary picks that he wants to. Demon King goes for a 1-for-1 trade. They're able to take out the Ana, but another support falls, but that's going to be both supports, all supports off the board. Only one remaining will be Star Chick and Tony, as they're trying their best to survive, but they are going to lose that second flashpoint. Well played from the side of Long Beach, but now as we turn our heads towards this next point, it's going to be towards the opposite side of the map, so everyone's making a absolute bullet run for it, but looks like CSULB will be the ones to beat the mark for now. But UA have some really good ults to try to retake this. Pulse Bomb, if he's able to find any sort of stick possible, things could look really good for Tony. Pulse Bomb will go through. It sticks the Diva. Suzu comes through as well, so now they're able to get her out of the mech, but she does have her ult, so things could look a little bit scary now, as she's right back at full health. Brig will go down, though, so that lack of healing will be notified from UAA's side of things. This Tracer, being as squishy as she is just keeping alive for so long. D.Va will finally come out of ult and pay for it. That's a double punch off the board as Tracer, despite having a recall back in time, is not able to recall the rest of her members back to life either. Now the fight, it looks like it's going to be tailored up towards this stairwell area. Things looking fairly strong for the side of CSULB in terms of positioning, but UAA is able to fall back for the time being. Tony is going to have to utilize his recall, so doesn't look like he has really anything going for that area, but he's able to distract the support so much to the point where he's able to pull them off. No deaths have come in for either side yet, but still, UAA is just clobbering away at this percentages as they find themselves up 75 to 45. Anti-heal does go out, so they at least know that that is going to be on cooldown. So no CDs for the side of CSULB. Dive comes through onto the Ana, and that punch is going to deal the final blow. Lord is going to fall, however, so down 1 DPS. But for an Ana, you definitely take that trade any day of the week. It looks like the Venture was able to get the kill onto Star Chicken, so some kills are still leaning in favor of CSULB slightly, but with Demon King here, and he does have his ult, he's gonna be forced to go away, giving the point for the time being for CSULB. But with 2 support ults remaining and Demon King's ult, this last fight, I am honestly believing that whoever wins this point right here will be the winner to be able to snowball for the rest of the game. Just gotta hope that it's UAA. That's gonna be the Brig ult utilized. Still gonna look for any sort of support ult. That's gonna be Juno that pops hers, keeps things up for the time being. No deaths have been happening, but that's gonna be the Brig. And D.Va is also super lit as she gets knocked out of mech, so things are looking very up right now for UAA. Venture is still doing her best to try to survive, but UAA cuts that down quick and easy, and things are looking good for point number 3 for UAA. This D.Va is just stalling so long, but as things are in overtime, that point goes to UAA. Beautiful stuff, and we didn't even use Kiriko ult, so that's really good. Also extremely lucky is that the flashpoint, instead of running across the map, which honestly would have given the advantage towards Long Beach, it looks like the point is just right behind us, so very nice positioning that can happen from UAA here. We just have to be careful in exactly how we utilize this, because it looks right now that the pinch is being set up from CSULB. It's going to be Demon King to try and his best to deny any sort of push that's coming down on the front side. And oh no, what a sleep dart that was landed from the enemy Ana. Barney on the opposite side. That is not the purple dinosaur that I remember growing up with. He just absolutely slams the sleep dart onto Demon King and dumps every bit of util there. Very unfortunate early battle, but still, we are looking like we are cooking with our ultimates right now. We have about 4 ultimates that most likely will be used in this fight. Keep an eye out for the Pulse Bomb, as well as Lord's ult as well. Pulse Bomb goes out. He's able to find the kill into the Venture. Demon King utilized his ult as well, and he was able to kill the Ana with it. Still looking for the Brig next. That's going to be both supports down. Tony was able to punch out the enemy Tracer. Tracer diff in the chat, and that's going to be Demon King just cleaning up the tank as well. UAA have claimed the point, and they've won the next fight. They're going to stall out this D.Va, and that's a really good stall. If you don't know, Overwatch has very long death timers, and if the rest of your team spawns out at a different time and they don't catch the same window, then their team is going to be waiting just even a couple seconds for their tank to respawn with them. Kiriko will be utilized to take some more space here. Beautiful stuff as they've got their eyes set onto this Brig. And they have her at 1 health, and they're able to deal the final blow. Is going to be Lord. Next one's going to be Venture. 1 health down, and that's Lord just still absolutely clobbering away at the remaining members. And if it weren't for the recall there, he would have had Tracer dead to rights. That's going to be Devault that's going to utilize, but the Tracer bomb sticks, and that's a double kill for the enemy Tracer. Things are all of a sudden turning in tide, but they're able to kill the D.Va before she gets in the mech, and now it's all up to Tracer now. But still, UAA have this point as they cap it right back. Beautiful stuff from the side of CSULB, but UAA just is even better. Continuing now to still stake their claim. They're 1 point away from this victory of winning map 3 to take the series up to 1. Things have been looking great for UAA so far. Now Demon King is going to be utilizing this, but we got to get the eyes on Lord as he's able to take the first kill onto Tracer. Popping his ult, he's going to be absolutely continuing here. Demon King will be sleeping, but he's not going to die as quick as last time due to the Juno ult. Lord's not able to find anything more with his ult, but Demon King is going to be sliding from the skies, and he's going to absolutely distract the rest of CSULB as they take the map win. UAA are now up 2-1 in the series, and I said it last map, but if Demon King gets Doomfist again next map, it will be unbelievable. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think now this will be the final time that we see Doomfist. So definitely get used to maybe a Hazard coming back next half, because there is absolutely no way they let this man have his pick. We'll see you in map 4. pen, pineapple, apple pen. All right, to all my Alaskans, I'm gonna need you to close your eyes for a sec. This is not a nice sight to see. We are in the territory of our neighbors, the Canadians. Just kidding. We love our neighbors. Up here in Alaska, we love our neighbors. We love when we are considered, when everyone in Lower 48 thinks that we're just a part of Canada somehow. No, we are not, unfortunately. Now, let's go to the actual match. Let's see. So, unfortunately, to everyone in chat that was hoping to see Demon King get right back on the Doomfist, thinking realistically, it most likely wasn't going to happen, and it didn't. Doomfist was banned for this match, but also was Cassidy. Cassidy was a little bit of an interesting ban. I really thought it was going to be the Venture, but I don't believe you're allowed to ban the same character twice, actually. So we might, if this does go to a map 5, we might see Doomfist there as well. Wrecking Ball will be utilized this map, though, as another very strong pick for Demon King. So still would be a very good one nonetheless. This time we're going to be seeing Star Chicken on Brig, and we're going to run a Brig. Oh, dash off the map. I find this funny because I used to play on the Overwatch team, and I was on Brig, the Brig jail, as Star Chicken is on right now, and I promise you that I have also made that exact same fatal mistake multiple times. So I can definitely relate to the dashing off the map. But definitely an interesting support lineup here. None of the supports are banned, but this time around it looks like we're going to go for this Brig and Zen look, probably to counter the Venture option. So definitely could be extremely strong if the dive comes through. But both supports are going to be up alongside Lord in this top lane, while Demon King kind of just go towards the point and just wreaks as much havoc as possible. So definitely good to see the game plan here, but let's just see if it really pans out to UAA's liking. It's going to be Tony and Demon King really just doing as much possible as to deal as much damage towards these support lineups, and they're able to take out the Kiriko, but on the back end, they're trying to deal with this Venture. And although they weren't able to, they were still not able to die, which is also the most important part. Going to be the next one on line is Junker Queen, as she gets taken out by the Demon King Wrecking Ball. And him and Tony are just wreaking havoc towards this front line. Tracer v Tracer, as I said in the last one, Tracer diff. And the recall is going to be utilized. And that's some good cooldown usage that Tony is very happy with to get out of that fight with. But now it's really just the next spot that UAA wants to set up for this top lane. You got the 3 members of Lord and the 2 supports, with Demon King with Tracer nearby. Exactly how they want to push this. Slam will come through and knock up the Junker Queen. A lot of damage dealt with the roll of Wrecking Ball. As they're trying to deal with this high ground, they're able to take out the Brig and now knock off the remaining members of UAA. So things could look very dire straits here. Unfortunately, that's going to be Lord and the Brig fallen. And now that they knocked off that high ground, I mean, it's extremely hard now for UAA to get any sort of footing. That's going to be Tony down as well, leaving Demon King all alone. Resetting a little bit, looks like UAA is going to just find themselves back at the same high ground that they had earlier. But with a Venture ult, it is just too strong as she just jumps up towards that top side. And this character just seems broken, honestly. I mean, she just has so much movement capabilities and so much damage opportunities. It's just extremely hard to take her down. And just like that, even though we had a little bit of a trade there between Lord and the Venture of Moose. Things still get a little bit dicey. They're almost able to take out the Lucio, but he does get the Suzu. He will be dying by the hands of Lord for the time being, but now as things are still ticking down, as the robot's still chugging around, they're still trying to they were able to get that Kiriko. So the door has opened and the floodgates have closed for the side of CSULB, but let's see if UAA is able to do anything with it. Once again, they find themselves at series point. So if they take this map of New Queen Street, they will be able to win the series. Brig Dash comes through. not able to hit the Venture as she was underground, but that is a very nice bash. Very nice bash and clash onto the Venture. Tags her up a tad bit, but she's just continuously looking for that Tracer, and Tony just says, hey, I'll do you a solid. I'll just jump off the map. So it looks like UAA just loves jumping off the map here, unfortunately, but we are still in numbers advantage somehow, as Demon King is doing a great job at stalling for the meantime. Smokey doing great as well, just waiting for this Brig to hop out of the ground. That's going to be the bash from Etho as the enemy Kiriko ult pops up, but the Transcendence from Smokey is just in time to keep things up alive. They're just absolutely pelting onto this Junker Queen, able to take her out, and that's a team kill for UAA. Beautiful stuff, as now the robot can finally get to rumbling, and UAA has some breathing room. A lot of ultimates are on the side of CSULB, but it is a couple of more offensive ultimates. They do not have the support ult, so if Demon King's able to get a very well-timed mines here, things could look really good. Tony versus the Tracer. Tony versus the Tracer. This reminds me of those battles from Demon Slayer. But unfortunately, Tony's going to be the one that gets the hole punched in his chest. Not spoilers. Star Chicken's going to be looking for any sort of kills, but he's not able to find it. Demon King is going to be all left on his lonesome. But unfortunately, he's going to be having to push back. And although they were able to get the robot a fair amount, they're now going to have to be forced to fight next to this bus area. Demon King utilizes the mines. Wasn't able to get any sort of knockup, but he at least separates the team between the supports and the tanks. And he notices this, utilizes Kiriko's support, but that Junker Queen ult is going to be utilized on the back ends. And that's going to take out Smokey, and both of our supports are down. And despite Tony and Demon King once again being the last two, things aren't looking the greatest as they're trying to keep their team stalled up for the time being. But now Tony will fall, leaving things up into CSULB's hands. They now have the fast spawn being nearby, so things could look a little dangerous. Star Chicken will fall as CSULB is starting to build up that push. Have to take out this Venture here. Right click misses, unfortunately. As Tony's going to make the swap to Echo. So, doesn't look like the Wrecking Ball was working fairly well. Alongside the Tracer, rather. So, now they're just going to swap it off towards this Echo look. But, once again, I mean, they just are just continuously slamming up against this Wrecking Ball. And they kind of figured out that it unfortunately will not work going forward. And we're just unfortunately not seeing the same dominance with that Doomfist. But lucky enough, unless UA is able to turn this around, which is still entirely possible, Doomfist won't be banned for the final map. So things could look extremely well. Juno trying to stay alive as much as possible and trying to stall this last point before CSULB caps off the robot push and makes it to the final station. UA is able to win a fight there, and they only had to use the Juno ult to get themselves some more breathing room, some more space, and it looks like CSULB utilized all of their ults here, so things could look really good now, as UA could turn this around if they're able to snowball a couple more fights, maybe win one more team fight, and then that should help them snowball forward. The thing about the push mode, though, is that when you're on the back foot, like in this scenario, you're just constantly on the back foot, because now with the fight going on over here, even if they win it, they're still not making any sort of progress. they're going to have to utilize some ultimates here. And that's going to be the copy that goes in from Tony. Utilizes against the Junker Queen, trying to gain as much ulti charge as possible if he's able to use that Junker Queen charge. Utilizes the knife, able to deal a ton of damage, and that's going to be the kill. So regardless of if Tony's able to get that ultimate, he still gets the kill onto the tank. And that's a beautiful time that you can snowball off of. As we talked about earlier, and all of a sudden UAA is pushing this robot, only utilizing that one ult. Star Chicken has to stay alive here, because for the time being, CSULB has nothing to respond with. They only have the beat, which can be easily baited out with via a Lord ult or a Demon King ult that does go through. Not able to find really much there, but he's able to deal enough damage onto the Kiriko. They're able to finally get the kill. Lord falls, but they're able to take out the Lucio as well. Kiriko will be utilized here and exhausted as they're looking for the Junker Queen as well. And now things are looking huge for the turnaround for UAA. All of a sudden, we saw them at the brink staring death in the eyes, but now they're charging up into their way to win this map, sitting at overtime. Now, they don't even have to push it all the way. They simply have to get farther than 125.4 meters. As long as they stay on the point, things will look good for them. But 3 members of UAA fall. And unfortunately, those 4 members falling will spell the death of UAA for this game. Overtime will tick out, and despite a crazy effort, almost taking the series there, almost bringing it back, they're going to lose map 4. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going all the way to game number 5. I mean, this has been an insane series between these two teams, and things are only ramping up. We'll see you guys in map 5. Lavicia Pesheria. Lavicia Pesheria. Lavicia Pesheria. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to map number 5 of what has been a crazy series so far. If you're just now joining in, it has been a back and forth endeavor. First map was taken by California State Long Beach, and then map 2 and then map 3 were taken by UAA, but to strike back last map on New Queen Street, CSULB have tied the series 2-2-2. And now we find ourselves back on map 5 with the Doomfist player. It's going to be an interesting series, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see exactly how it pans out as we go to this map 5. Let's get things started. It's going to be a payload map. It's going to be Rialto, a little bit different than what we saw in Eichenwald. If you're just now, watching Overwatch for the first time, it's a little different, as in the other game modes, you have to capture a point and then you can push the payload. But on maps like this, you just instantly start pushing that payload and start getting some meters down. So if you're just now tuning in, once again, the ban systems, each player can ban, or each team can ban one character of a different role that the other team has banned, but you can also not ban the same character twice in a series. So we saw Doomfist ban last map, but he is right back in the hands of Demon King, and they're definitely not hiding that. They're not hiding it. They're perfectly fine with going the with letting Demon King just absolutely wreak havoc here. I don't exactly know who was banned on the side of CSULB, who they chose to ban, but I believe that we banned. I want to say Tracer. We're really used to seeing the Tracer, but this time around we won't be seeing that this time. Playing around this corner, really good stuff from the side of Demon King to at least stall for the time being. No picks have actually happened yet, as the kill board is flawless on the side of both teams. But whoever gets that really opener pick is definitely going to be opening the gates for both teams. That's going to be a lot of our supports kind of falling backwards. Demon King's going to be taking a ton of damage for himself as well, but the movement of the Doomfist is just too hard to counter. A bunch of kills, and I mean, this has to be a world record for the longest amount of no kills. This is going to be an ult utilized, but it's going to be Reaper that's going to be the first kill drawn by Demon King. And now, also following on the back of the Kiriko ult, they're still not able to find anything. That's going to be D.Va out of mech, and that's going to be multiple kills for the side of Demon King as well. His name is flooding the kill feed. As the last one remaining, it will be that Lucio, as UAA finish him off, and they're able to at least stop the bleeding for now, as despite no picks happening, CSULB was doing a really good job at pushing this payload. But now with only 1 minute 50 seconds remaining, UAA is doing a super good job right now at holding this down, making sure that they do not overextend by any means. There was one ultimate utilized for the side of CSULB, so looks like they're trying to just save their ultimates as well. Almost all 5 of them pretty much at this point have an ultimate, so they're just looking to see who's going to pop it first. Beautiful shot by the side of Lord, as they're also able to follow up with a kill onto Sojourn, so that's going to be bold TPS down for CSULB. Kiriko ult not going to be utilized. Nothing's going to be utilized. They're going to actually wait for this D.Va to die. Beautiful stuff from UAA here as they stall this D.Va out, and that's going to be another 10 seconds almost that they got to wait for their tank to come back and join the fight. Five ultimates still in the hand of UAA here, and Demon King is just absolutely destroying the members in the backline, but he has to pay attention to the rest of his members. That's going to be B and Death Blossom utilized, and it's all going to be used just for the blade that doesn't find anything. It looks like CSULB here, all 3 press Q, or 2 of them rather, so now Demon King has to fall back a little bit. He does have enough time to stall, so he might be able to find this Lucio here. Gets the boop. They find him with the D.Va spot, so they are marking him fairly well, but this is going to be the Kiriko ult and the Juno ult use. So that's going to be 2 support ults utilized to try to stop this, and it looks like UA wants to end it here before CSULB can even get on the first point. We have to make sure not to C9 now. stay on this point and make sure we don't get touched by the D.Va ult. He almost gets blown up, but we stop D.Va before she gets in the mech, and things are looking beautiful as UAA stopped them before the first checkpoint. Beautiful stuff so far, as now all UAA has to do is literally just push it to that first checkpoint, and things are golden. Wait, did someone say golden? K-pop Demon Hunters? Grand Hotel La Serenissima. Grand Hotel La Serenissima. Grand Hotel La Serenissima. Grand Hotel La Serenissima. Here we go. Demon King leading the charge. Absolutely crazy. I know everyone from the future teams are watching these VODs and just saying to themselves, why can't we permaban Doomfist for every map? Would love to see how future teams go about having to strat around against our Doomfist player. But he is just absolutely wreaking a havoc in these lobbies. This is the last half of Overwatch, ladies and gentlemen. After this half, UAA will either walk away the victors or the defeated. Let's see how things turn out, starting now on the second half of map 5. Demon King is going to start early off, looking for any sort of top lane angle. Comps have not changed for the most part. It looks like Moose will be on that Cassidy, and we do look like we have a BAP this time, trying to hold that high ground with the window, and the ult pops. Doomfist will be the one that creates that space, though. He's going to be hindered by the castle, but they're still able to get D.Va out of mech, and that's going to be a huge pick now as they're able to create a ton of space. Demon King's able to get the mega heal, and they're still able to keep charging, and that's going to force CSULB super far back. They're looking to try to find this D.Va, this baby D.Va. They're able to knock her up against the wall. That's going to be the Kiriko down. Beautiful shots, but that's going to be the Demon King that falls as well. If they're able to clean up this D.Va before she gets mech back, this could spell the death of CSULB. She's able to get the mech back, though. And now, however, they were still able to charge so much, and the UAA is perfectly fine with the distance that they have covered over this past minute. With still 3 minutes remaining, they have Demon King back in their midst. Most players doing a really hard job at trying to decipher whether this is Demon King or LeBron James in the flesh, as he is spelling out GOAT over all the members of CSULB. This last fight could spell it all. Still trying to build some ultimates. It looks like Baptiste was the one to build ultimate first. Genji will dash in. That's going to be the lamp utilized, and it's going to be the dash from Tony with the blade. He's able to get one, but still, that's another pick from the side of Demon King as well. He's going to utilize the fist from the sky. Knocks down D.Va as she goes back and knocks her onto the kayaks, and that's a UAA victory, ladies and gentlemen, winning their first match of this series of this season in Game 5 fashion. Demon King MVP with the Doomfist. Give him to play the game, dancing all over the members. And what a beautiful game, ladies and gentlemen. GG's all around to CSULB for being some fantastic mates to play with. But they beat us in the placement tournament. But when it comes to the actual matches, we stand tall. GG's, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week for the second week of matches, starting on Monday with our Valorant team. GG's all around, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.